Construction slams expectations.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here, too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent, too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikiak, today at 402-474-1173.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sauterheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Midwest Bank is hosting our annual Thanksgiving food drive, partnering with local Lincoln schools to provide Thanksgiving dinners to families in need. We hope to provide meals for more than 120 families in our community this year. You can help by dropping off a donation at either Midwest Bank location, 7001 Pioneers Boulevard or 2655 Jamie Lane. Any donation is greatly appreciated. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Comfort food, but make it vegan. At Rutabagas, they're serving all your crave-worthy classics. Mac and cheese, loaded nachos, Philly cheesesteaks, all 100% plant-powered and 100% delicious. Catch them at their cozy spot at 70th and Vine, or find their food truck rolling through the streets of Lincoln. So whether you're vegan, veg-curious, or just hungry for comfort food with a twist, Rutabagas has a plate waiting for you. Find them on Instagram for their food truck location and specials. Rutabagas, where comfort meets compassion.
Welcome in to the Corner 3, taking you around the arc of college basketball. From the NAAC to the Pac-12, the WCC to the SWAC. We cover it all now on 93.7 The Ticket. Here is your host, Austin Oerman.
Oh, that's right. The sources were correct. The Corner 3 is returned. And Jay Foreman was also correct. Big game. Jacob Bigelow's in the house. It is the Corner 3. I'm Austin. He is Jacob. It has been far too long. It is a legendary moment. It is a maybe not crowning moment, but we needed the Michael Jordan press release. I'm back.
Hey.
That's what we needed.
Yeah.
But barring that, he is here. Jacob Bigelow. Welcome back to the game, and more importantly, to the Corner 3.
No, I'm happy to be here, man. I like walking up to that corner, seeing that marquee, getting the marquee tweet off like I do every time I come down, and then good to see you, good to see Jay, and it's good to be talking ball into a microphone. It's November, it feels like fall outside. All is right in the world. I got scores pulled up. It's like you feel whole. You feel whole again this time of year.
The game that we are monitoring right now, for those of you watching live, you will know this is going on. For those of you listening back, we'll tell you when we are recording this episode of the podcast, as if that's how you listen. We got 31-24 Georgetown on the road at Maryland, now 32-24 after a made free throw. And, of course, the headlining game of the night is Kansas and North Carolina, a couple highly billed freshmen in Darren Peterson and Caleb Wilson. I'm sure they'll be matched up at some point, but they don't play the same position. So either way, A couple of blue bloods, not quite down in the dumps, but not far from it in Kansas and North Carolina, at least to their standards. And I had to get that dig in as a Duke fan. Don't worry, I will keep it more professional.
There's a third blue blood in the building in Chapel Hill tonight too. Fresh from her return from injury, Red Panda is the halftime performance in Chapel Hill. So you got three. You got three blue bloods who some people may claim are washed, all in the building. All in the building tonight.
Okay, quick washed rankings of those three. Most washed to least washed.
Carolina basketball, Red Panda. Bill Self's skinny now, so he's trying to is skinny Bill Self separate from Potbelly Bill Self.
Could be,
but it is kind of you could argue for Bill Self up there. But I think just, Carolina basketball is in a world of hurt right now. And this is a huge year for that program, huge year for Hubert, and it's a marquee game at home. Cause I think, there's some mojo in the triangle, not just because of your guys on your shirt, but because of, the Will Wade effect. There's also a big game in Raleigh Wood tonight, NC State and UAB. No bias from me there, but there's dare I say, there may be some juice back in the ACC with the additional Will Wade.
Oh, and we will get to the ACC. We have a week 1 reactions and overreactions. That is the topic at hand tonight. 402-464-5685. If you want to be a part of what's going on, drop a comment, drop a question. Text in Starter Heyman Jewelers text line 402-464-5685. All right, Jay, let's dive into this first and foremost with the freshmen. We mentioned a couple of them already, and Darren Peterson and Caleb Wilson taking part in that game in Chapel Hill tonight. But the best freshman in college basketball might just reside in Tucson, Arizona. Reaction or overreaction? Koa Pete is the best freshman in college basketball this year.
I'm calling it an overreaction, but I could see it being the case. It's so tough because Peterson's so good, and I saw the Kevin Sweeney article. Shout out to Kevin. He's as an ally of the ginger community. Shout out to Kevin for that write up on Peterson and how he's viewed as a prospect. I mean, there are people who thought he could have gone to the draft last year, that he was that good then. And now he's in Lawrence playing for Bill Self, skinny Bill Self. And we'll see what the ceiling is. I still lean toward him. There's some people who are in the Bansa camp. I think, the bigger reaction from this is could be the best year for freshmen in college basketball in quite some time. After all this talk of, sixth year guys, some seventh year, fifth year, COVID eligibility, this, that, and the other thing. Highly touted freshmen are back. It's all the way back this year. And I think even after less than a week of games, that's a proper reaction.
So for those who missed the Koa Pete game, became one of just 6 freshmen all time to go 35-5 in a victory over a ranked team. A couple other guys you might have heard of who've done that, Cooper Flagg and Trae Young. Koa Pete did more than just that. 30 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals, and a block in his college debut against one of the teams with one of the top front courts in the country. Alex Condon, Thomas Houck, Micah Handlogton more at center than the 3 or 4 that the Koa Pete was playing. Of course, Ruben Chinyelu, who was skinnier than I remember, but still absolutely rocked up. It was incredible to see that switch flip from Florida up 10 in the first half to Tommy Lloyd spamming the Koa Pete button. Hey, this dude can operate in the middle of the floor. He can play bully ball against some veteran, experienced guys who out-toughed Houston last year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Koa Pete, the biggest thing watching that game, aside from the stat line and how it looked, Koa Pete is 18 years old, and he is a grown man. He looks like I'm like that. I hear all the time, like, these kids look so younger. They look so much younger than when I was that age. Koa Pete, if he does not look 18. And that's what happens when you've been playing, basketball at the highest level for your age group as long as he has. He has a couple gold medals playing in different FIBA competitions with Team USA. He's been on the world stage, and nobody loves guys from the world stage like Tommy Lloyd. They're usually from Eastern Europe, not from where he found Koa Pete. But he's a ball player, man. And this is, I think this is another We talked about the big year in Carolina. I think it's a big year for Tommy Lloyd too. There's been a lot of buzz these last couple years with his teams. They dealt with the Caleb Love experience, and now he's got a stud freshman in Koa, and they've got
Jaden Bradley might have leveled up.
Yep, Jaden Bradley might have leveled up. They've got a beautiful court with the cactus on it.
Sunrise Saguaros, baby.
Sunrise Saguaros. That's my favorite pair of basketball shorts ever. Is the 90s 2000s Arizona shorts. But I'm interested to keep following along with them. But that was, it's early. We're a weekend. Obviously, this is mostly tongue in cheek, but I feel like though that may be the biggest surprise result in terms of like big dog versus big dog for a while. It depends on how things go in Chapel Hill tonight, but the people will be thinking about that game for a while with the defending champs kind of getting punched in the mouth in night one.
Odds are good we'll be talking about this freshman class for a while. This is from the Athletics write-up on college basketball. You mentioned a bunch of the big names, Debonsa, Peterson, Cam Boozer in there as well. And then some of the other interesting names to follow is freshman Caleb Wilson's come up. Tunde Yasufu down at Baylor. Nate Ament, who picked Tennessee over Duke. He scored 18 and 9 in his debut. Arkansas is a team that I'm still skeptical of. I don't know how they make it work, but it helps when you get 22 points and 4 dimes from Darius Acuff Jr., who's a stud. Malik Thomas takes a bench role, goes for 21 points and 7 assists in that win. A star-studded freshman class. The Athletic raises the question, is it on pace to be the all-time freshman class or just an all-time freshman class? Here are the other options that they throw out. 2008, 5 freshmen go in the top 7 of the NBA draft, including youngest NBA MVP ever, Derrick Rose. And then you have Kevin Love. Both those teams at Memphis and UCLA made the Final Four. You had Michael Beasley and OJ Mayo in that class. 2018, you had DeAndre Ayton, Marvin Bagley III, and Trae Young. 9 freshmen go in the top 11 of the 2019 NBA draft, including, of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then here's a kind of funky one. 2021, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, Hunter Dickinson, who learned LinkedIn, and Evan Mobley holds the current record of number of freshman All-Americans with 4. How close can this class get?
I think the upside is pretty high there, man. Obviously NIL wasn't a thing for most of those. Legally it wasn't a thing for some of those guys.
We know it was around for DeAndre Ayton.
Well, yeah, no, and Cade Cunningham, he went to Oklahoma State, and was it his brother who just happened to have a job on that staff?
Cade never saw any of that money. It all went to his brother.
Saw any of that for sure. But just think about like the NIL value that some of these guys have. Between how they got Debonsa to, Provo, how they, Darren Peterson, I'm sure, is getting plenty of Adidas dollars from, playing at Kansas. I think upside wise, it could be up there, with some of those groups. Obviously, that 08 crew with Rose and Kevin Love, still in the league, by the way. Kevin Love, I was shocked to learn this recently.
Playing at Utah.
Playing in Utah. It all comes back to Utah. Yeah, no, the same guy's money who's paying Kevin Love to still be in the league, also paying AJ Debonsa. But I think it could be up there, by the end of this year, because there's a lot of star power there, a lot of upside, and guys that are going to be pretty highly touted and are already very highly regarded in draft circles and with scouts for the next level.
Okay, one spin zone and one butterfly effect moment. Spin zone is Barricade Boyukton has morals. He turned down the BYU money to come to Nebraska. Barricade Boyukton plays basketball for the right reasons. There's your spin zone. Okay, take that for what you will.
Yep.
Here's the butterfly effect. Imagine if Cooper Flagg was in college basketball this year.
People forget
that he reclassed. Okay, so let's play this out. Let's play it out. Cooper Flagg ends up at Duke. Boozer twins, probably at Miami. Okay, so there's just a little one. Who knows what other deck shuffling that does? But let's play it out the other way. Cam Boozer, Caden Boozer become priority recruits for Duke. Duke goes for them. Cooper Flagg ends up at UConn with this team.
Sheesh.
Is Braylon Mullins in Indiana Hoosier? Is Solo Ball still in stores? Is UConn your preseason number 1 team because they brought back Liam McNeely to play off the ball more this year with Cooper Flagg running point? Does Silas DeMary end up a Duke Blue Devil instead of going to UConn when the transfer portal opens.
That is quite the Pandora's box you just opened there. There's not really much going on in my brain, but now my brain really enjoys that hypothetical. I think I was kind of I'm glad Cooper wound up at Duke. I kind of wanted to see him at UConn, like just for the Northeast, the kid from the Northeast playing at UConn, and that
Don't forget his mom and Donovan Klingen's mom.
Yeah,
were teammates back.
Indeed. But yeah, that is quite the butterfly effect. It's there's coaching butterfly effect there too, like with the Boozer twins and
Jay Lucas.
Yep, and there's all sorts of dominoes that could have fallen there, but yeah, that's people forget about Cooper reclassifying. If he was in this group too, then I think it would be pretty surefire, at the end of the year, but he's down in Dallas, getting to learn about Anthony Davis and stellar front office decisions with the Dallas Mavericks.
It worked out very well for Cooper in that he was maybe not a no doubt number one overall prospect, but much closer to it than he would have been this year.
Oh, without question. Could you imagine the chit chat shows if Cooper was in this class? Like Cooper, Peterson, Debanza, the debate, the
Boozers, Oerman,
Boozer. It'd be loaded. That'd be quite the discourse for sure. I think it's already going to be quite the discourse when we get there. But yeah, Cooper would have been an extra little curveball.
This is filing one away for me for future reference because I am on a chit chat show. 2026 NBA draft versus 2027 NFL draft. Okay,
Yeah.
we're filing that away for future reference. We'll move on to reaction or overreaction number 2. The Big Ten will average the most points per game of any conference. Jacob, reaction or overreaction?
Yeah, I'd call it an overreaction for now. I like the way you're thinking though. Probably the most out of pocket final score of the opening week was in Columbus, Ohio, where it appears defense was optional for the Fighting Jake Dieblers.
It wasn't even optional. You left it at the door. You were not allowed to bring it in.
Yeah, you left it there. Maybe it was in LeBron's the fake LeBron locker in that arena. He was never going to play at Ohio State, but they do have the fake LeBron locker there.
People forget that.
People do forget that. But they still. Yeah, was it IU Indy, right? Or who they gave up? I forget who the opponent was. I know it was some. I think it might have been IU. It was some.
Okay, right now it is much more tame. It is only 45-30 Ohio State against Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne. Yep, I forget who their opponent was.
It was IU Indy.
Yep, IU Indy. Look at me. Look at the big brain on Biggs. But that was a little bit of an eye opener. I think the team here in town is going to have some games where they score a bunch of points. I don't know if they're going to get in the hundreds at all. But then the fighting Ben McCollums and their debut put up some numbers against Robert Morris. There's definitely some teams with plenty of options, plenty of weapons, top to bottom in the Big Ten. Michigan, Illinois. I haven't mentioned Purdue yet. Trey Kaufman-Wren's still out. That was kind of a surprise. But Matt Painter, he's a clinician with the offense, and that they'll be able to put up some points too. But I just think there's still an athleticism gap between the Big Ten and the SEC, and even
fundamental score points too.
They do. But I think there's still an athleticism gap between the Big Ten and the SEC and parts of the ACC and the Big 12 as well. So I'll say that's an overreaction, but I like the way you're thinking though, because I like points. I like points in my basketball games.
Here's where it comes from. Nebraska is currently 10th in the Big Ten in points per game, and they scored 86. 4 Big Ten teams scored at least 100 points. Michigan put up 121. The aforementioned 118 from Ohio State, 113 from Illinois, and 101 from Iowa. Indiana was right there, 98. Wisconsin at 96. Brand new look USC was at 94. Washington in 2 games has averaged 89. Survived a little bit of a push from the hockey school at Denver last night, and we'll certainly talk more about that. And then Nico and the boys put up 87 in a season-opening win in the Twin Cities. Purdue actually below Nebraska, 82 points per game so far. But the one that's really dragging the Big Ten scoring average down, Oregon. The Ducks survive the Rainbow Warriors. 60-59 in Eugene in their season opening game. That's a Hawaii team that gave Nebraska some fits at times last year when Nebraska went out there for that multi-team event. A good Oregon team. Here's another potential overreaction, just mini overreaction. Oregon finishes 10th or worse in the Big Ten. Which will lead us into the next question.
I don't know about 10th or worse, but I'm not as high on them as a lot of people are. I mean, it's basically the exact same team as last year. I'm kind of I'm tired of Nate Biddle. Like I won't hold back. Like,
I was less than impressed with what I saw from him Big Ten media days. Like I thought he was bigger than he
I'll be
is.
pretty blunt. I'm kind of tired of Nate Biddle. I like Jackson Shelstad. I like the early the new Linsanity, Wei Lin coming over from China. I think he'll be fun for them. But I just, it's kind of, I mean, we kind of do this every year though, right? Like this is kind of an every year thing with Oregon. It's like, oh, they're starting slow. And then it's like,
do you know the last time Dana Altman didn't win 20 games?
When was that?
His last year at Creighton. They went 18-16. And then he leaves and Oregon has won 20 games or more every year since.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Obviously, Dana Altman mentioned shout out Checkfest, shout out Wilbur, Nebraska. But I mean, it's consistent. It's consistency with him. They always round into form, at least somewhat, toward the end of the year. And you know they're notorious for their slow starts. So we'll see how that evolves. But I mean, I was not nearly as high on them coming into the year as a lot of people were, mostly because I'm tired of Biddle and Shelstad's hurt now, so he's out for a little while. We'll see how they bounce back because I think they're in players era in a couple weeks, so that'll be the first.
Like they need the money.
That's true, but they'll be. I'm interested to see how they look. A couple weeks from now.
Okay, that leads us into this one. Reaction or overreaction number 3. The Big Ten breaks the SEC's record for the most NCAA tournament bids by a conference by stealing bids from the Mountain West.
This hurts my heart.
I know, which is why I had to ask it.
This hurts my heart so much because it's been a rough week for the Mountain West. It's been a tough week. Usually those are reserved for the month of March for the Mountain West.
No longer.
When it comes to the national discourse. But Boise State drops one at home to a D2 school where if you Google their campus, it's legitimately in a strip mall. Hawaii Pacific University. There's been what was the other notable Mountain West loss?
It was UT Martin.
UT Martin going and spoiling the Josh Pastner return to college basketball. Grand Canyon in the Mountain West this year will be interesting. But I mean I see it's the two parts that gets me. Someone is going to steal bids from the Mountain West. But I don't know if it's going to be the bottom or the middle, the mucky middle of the Big Ten, because they're just someone's going to get those bids. Because I think, it's once again, we're 1 week into the season. But if the Mountain West, how many did they get last year? 5? 4?
Something like that. I can scroll back very quickly here on Celebrity Sports Reference.
Yeah, no,
they end up with 4. So it was New Mexico 17-3 regular season champion, Colorado State 16-4 tournament champion. Then Utah State and San Diego State made it as at-larges. Boise State is still feeling the effects of the Nebraska loss from the college basketball crown.
Correct.
Missed out last year.
Correct. And one of those teams was a second away from the Sweet 16, but we don't need to talk. We don't need to talk about that.
Was a travel away from the Sweet 16.
Yeah, it was a travel away from the Sweet 16. I will not watching the Pelicans this year just because of that guy. But the whole, the Mountain West right now, it's kind of you assume San Diego State, you assume GCU, and then. Who knows? It's been Fresno State's bad, but they had a tough loss too. Even the bottom of the Mountain West is taking tough results. So I could see. I don't know about the Big Ten stealing them though. That's my problem. I just don't like.
Here's the math. We can talk through this.
Mm-hmm.
You feel good about Purdue.
Yep.
You feel good about Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
You feel good about Illinois. You feel good about Oregon until proven otherwise. UCLA and Michigan State until proven otherwise. So that gets you to 6.
Yep.
Can you find 9 more between Ohio State, Iowa, Indiana, Wisconsin, USC, Washington, Minnesota, Nebraska, Maryland?
You can. Yeah, you can.
Because all that leaves out is Rutgers, Penn State, Northwestern, almost the unquestioned bottom three. In the Big Ten.
They're not sniffing. They're not even coming close. They will be the first 3 calls for the crown. Because they they will be. You know how happy Mike Rhodes is that James Franklin is no longer the head coach at Penn State. People don't care about Penn State basketball as is, but Mike Rhodes might have popped champagne at the James Franklin news because he's like, I can fly under the radar even more than before. But there's definitely the math there. There is for sure. Because yeah, I mean the 4 new coaches. I always keep forgetting about Buzz. The 4 new coaches. I mean, they're all gonna. I think they're 3 of them for sure are gonna be in the discussion for the tournament. I could see.
Who do you like? Like it right now, you would lean toward in. You like their roster.
Oh,
to get the Big Ten to 9.
To get the Big Ten to 9. Maryland, because it's just Texas A&M and Under Armour gear, regardless of what they're doing right now. It's November for a reason. That's literally it's Texas A&M and Under Armour gear. They're gonna gouge people's eyes out for an entire season.
Right now, by the way, it is 38-27 Georgetown, minute and a half into the second.
Respect Ed Cooley. I feel like Iowa is such a cop out answer, because I'm not as high on them as some people, but coaching matters so much. Like I cannot.
You're higher on Iowa than Indiana?
I am.
Okay.
I am. And Indiana's been putting up numbers. I just like.
The Bryson Tucker thing is hilarious.
The Bryson Tucker thing is funny. But
tell people about that, because you sent it to me in Big Game Willie.
Yeah, I sent a tweet last night. Bryson Tucker made more threes last night for Washington than he did all season last year at Indiana. That's a team that I'm high on. Is Washington. I like Washington's team a lot.
Steinbach is intriguing.
Yeah,
Vandequit.
Rodney Rice.
Des Claude.
Des Claude. Guess what he's going to do when he's got the ball? He's going to tell you, he's going to be like, I got this. Get out the way. That's the Desmond Claude story. I like that team a lot. I don't know about USC. You asked me who I like. Now I'm just kind of like divvying it up. I don't know about USC. Maryland could be. I feel like they're just gonna prison shank people to get enough wins, like to get them in. This is kind of where I like to say how I feel about Nebraska into a microphone for the first time in a while. I mean, their margin of error. I mean,
what margin for error?
There is none. I mean, it's the definition of live by the 3 and die by the 3 this year. For the fighting Fred Hoibergs. But I mean, there's definitely a path where they're on the bubble again. Minnesota, I don't think they're going to be in the tournament discussion. I think they'll be just on the outside looking in. I know people who know me and my thoughts. They are stunned by this revelation. I'm all in on the Cade Tyson Reclamation Project, though. I'm all in on the Cade Tyson Reclamation Project next year for the Gophs. The team. Is it wrong of me to say that if the group you said you feel good about until proven otherwise, I kind of see a world where Michigan State could be flirting with disaster?
I'm right there with you.
I don't really like that team, and I really like the coach, but like it's like Fetch and Mean Girls. Like we're still trying to make Cohen Carr happen. Like all these years, like we're still
trying to make January, February Izzo happen.
We are still trying to do that. Like I don't really like Michigan State. I'm just like, that's the definition of if their jerseys said Northwestern or Rutgers on them, like they would not be getting the love they're getting.
If their jersey said Wisconsin on it, they wouldn't be getting the love.
See, I like Wisconsin.
I trust Wisconsin right now.
I hate it.
To me, Wisconsin is Big Ten 7, and that's not a knock on them.
No, but like I think they're solidly like that team. Like once they get there, that's where it's going to be, cutting time for guard. It's going to be like what you going to do now. Like I like that team. I really like Blackwell. I like Boyd. I mean, their guards. Like it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Like it's like. Basketball is always they've always like basketball up there, you can trust it. It's like halfback dive in the olden days of Wisconsin football. It's like, you can trust them in the regular season, but I mean, the middle of the Big Ten, bring your brooms. It's going to be a mess again. Felt good to drop that line again. That's one of my go-tos about Big Ten basketball. But
sweet music to our ears.
It's back. It is back. But I mean, yeah, there's definitely some teams that are going to be in that conversation. I'm higher on Washington than most. Lower on Oregon, lower on Michigan State. I'm also lower on UCLA, and that mostly has to do with Mr. Three-Piece Suit. I'm kind of getting tired.
Tournament team, borderline single digit, or as in could be outside looking in?
Borderline single digit to possibly. I mean, that's they paid a lot of money for Donovan Dent. He's gonna definitely score a bunch of points. But yeah, Mr. Three-Piece Suit is already talking about I'd fire myself after game one. I mean, I'm glad those popcorn press conferences are back, but I'm lower on them. And then, probably, I mean, yeah, like I mentioned, I am higher on Minnesota. They were picked like 15th. I don't think they're going to be a tournament team though. But I get where your math is coming from, and
it's at least on the table.
It's on the table. It could happen. There'd definitely be some speaks. There'd be some speaks if the Big Ten got that many, but because I really like the top. I really like Michigan. I really like. This is going to sound blasphemous. I kind of really like Illinois. If you know anything about me, that's a lot. That was a brave moment.
You did it, Jake.
That was a brave moment for me.
Let's go to break here. We'll give you time to collect yourself. You can go to the bathroom and powder up and everything if you need to. We'll go to break. We'll move off the Big Ten, kind of do more of a grab bag from around the country. More week one reactions and overreactions. Jacob Bigelow, I'm Austin Oerman. This is the Corner 3 on the Ticket.
Midwest Bank is hosting our annual Thanksgiving food drive, partnering with local Lincoln schools to provide Thanksgiving dinners to families in need. We hope to provide meals for more than 120 families in our community this year. You can help by dropping off a donation at either Midwest Bank location, 7001 Pioneers Boulevard or 2655 Jamie Lane. Any donation is greatly appreciated. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter-Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Score big with rebates up to $2,000 on the Kawasaki Nav, Kawasaki's first ever fully electric personal transportation vehicle designed for cruising the good life. Be the first to nav your neighborhood. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location, where they can't wait to get you set up for football season.
I can't believe I just scratched that card. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
Time for a new heating and cooling system? Get the options, brand, and efficiency that best fits your family and your home. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Koppel Chevrolet GMC is proud to be the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln metros. Koppel is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. We want to say thank you to all of our customers that have helped us reach these milestones. So come see why so many customers, including myself, are choosing Koppel Chevrolet GMC for their automotive needs. Please check us out at koppelcars.com.
Back to the corner three on 93.7 The Ticket. Here is your host, Austin Oerman.
Here we are. It is the corner three, Austin Oerman and Jacob Bigelow. At one point, this would have been the Carl Anthony Towns podcast, the corner three X Stretch Big crossover. But here we are. Just the corner three for now. Maybe the Stretch Big resurrects after you get the taste again.
Just the Cade Tyson. just the Cade Tyson for now.
Fair enough.
And I
Fair
promise
enough.
that'll be the last Cade Tyson reference.
Don't promise that. Don't make promises you can't keep.
At least today. At least today. Yeah.
At least until 7 o'clock. Then your counter resets.
Yes.
All right, let's move away from this. This is where we reference the team on my shirt. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Reaction or overreaction? Duke is not a top 2 team in the ACC.
Ooh. I think that's an overreaction just because Duke is Duke. And I'm not just saying that because you're here.
I know.
That's
why I have you on, so I know you're not going to BS me.
I'm not just saying that because you're here. I think their ceiling alone, what they can be. And I know it started slow against Texas the other night, but when they were on, man, you could see what they could be.
Mm-hmm.
The potential is definitely there. Cam Boozer had a pretty atrocious night for all things considered, and they still, took care of business pretty easily.
And he still had 15, 10, and 3, pretty much primarily in the second. Or 15, 13, and 3.
All in the second half.
Yeah.
Scoreless at halftime. Did that, I think that's an overreaction. There is some juice back in the league, though. We can talk all about that. There's some juice in the ACC again.
That's why I brought this up. So the reaction to Duke is not a top 2 team in the ACC comes from point guard worries me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The overreaction would be, Cam Boozer's the hub. Can they get a guy to go Monty Morris, right? Bring it up and hit the spot ups, right? Defend a little bit. The reaction would be Duke continues to struggle shooting the Spalding ball. Did they use it last night? The numbers were atrocious. They used him against Kentucky, I think, in that game, and it continues to be a problem. That's the ball that I think gets used at the end of the season. They kind of got to figure that out. Both posts were in foul trouble, and I say both posts because Duke only has 2. Because Cam Boozer is not really a center. Maybe for stretches he can. And you hold Texas to 60 points. I'm not sure that's a great offense in Texas. Certainly not in game 1 with Dalen Swain going hero ball. Chendall Weaver, Jordan Pope doing his step back thing. I've been more impressed with defenses really across the country in a limited sample size, right? This Duke team to me, relative to expectations, feels a little bit 2017-ish. In just how much it's going to rely on the offense. Maybe 2018, 2017 would be the Bagley Carter year. Maybe 2016, the year before, a little bit. The Frank Jackson, Luke Kennard, Grayson Allen, Jason Tatum, Emile Jefferson, Marquise Bolden.
Yeah.
I know they've built the defensive infrastructure. Like, I know that's what they've made their hay on because they're still elite when it comes to positional size. So maybe there's a higher floor for the defense than I give it credit for. I just think this team is going to be a little bit too offensive minded for me to bank on them being a top 2 team, because I think Louisville's guards are straight up better.
Yeah.
Louisville's guards are incredible. I'm not necessarily scared or worried about what's cooking at Virginia, but I do like Ryan Odom and the team that he put together. Obviously, Will Wade, this isn't the most athletic Duke team. That North Carolina State team is pretty athletic. I like Darian Williams as a college guy. Not so sure about the pros. We'll see if Notre Dame gives you anything. Obviously, Carolina has pieces and seems to make a little bit more sense on the surface. I'm out on Clemson. I don't think there's big a problem. Wake Forest, I'm out on. Virginia Tech, not this year. Pitt, we'll see. I don't know if losing Jalen Lowe was good for them. I'm not sure it was bad for them. But at the very least, I think this is a pretty comfortable 6 deep ACC.
I would tend to agree with you. Yeah, I'm with you on Odom. He's a really good coach. I think Virginia. I don't think they're gonna be playing Bennett ball anytime soon. I think they're gonna be a little more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Obviously, the Will Wade effect is real. And
American gangster.
American gangster. You better come prepared to play those guys, man. I mean, they're going to be freakishly athletic. They're going to crash the glass. They may not take the best shots, but they're going to, they're going to be fun. And NC State I like NC State being good. I like NC State being relevant. I think there's, they wear the Jimmy V era, jerseys in the opener. I'm just like, this is good. He did the recreation of the picture too. You got to pay homage. You got to pay homage to the greats. And then, Notre Dame, you mentioned Notre Dame. I don't think they're going to be, they're young. They're young with this highly touted recruiting class.
But they got the best rebounder in the nation.
They do. And it's kind of like, it's kind of like, I don't want to say now or never for Shrews, but it's kind of like,
let's get something going.
What have you
now?
done for me lately? Like that was a really highly regarded hire, and they go all out with this recruiting class. It's been pretty disappointing so far. But I think it is kind of, similar in the same neighborhood as now or never for Shrews in South Bend this year. But yeah, I think the ACC's got a little juice again. I'm not going to go full reports of its demise may have been exaggerated. But
no, they were real.
They were real. They were definitely real. And they're gonna have to figure some things out in Chapel Hill after this season, I think, regardless. But
please don't. But yes.
But there's some juice. There's some juice back in the league.
Okay. Here's another reaction or overreaction. Villanova and BYU will finish in the same place in their respective conferences.
I'm gonna be interested to hear the math on this one because I don't.
BYU 71, Villanova 66. I have no idea what Villanova thought it was doing. I also don't think Villanova had any idea what it was doing.
No, I don't. The home stretch of that game was quite the adventure, and I don't know if
they outscored BYU in the second half.
They did. I just don't like. And this, I'm supposed to be objective and not let my, I just can't
speak your truth.
Kevin Willard. We sure Kevin Willard was worth all that trouble. We sure Kevin Willard was worth all that drama in the Maryland NCAA tournament run.
I'm not.
I just don't like. Weird move for Villanova. I know he's a Big East guy. I know he had the success in the Big East, but I just feel like that's you had to rid yourself of Kyle Neptune and the sweaters. But the Kevin Willard, I don't know if that's the answer. I mean, the Big East though, so top heavy, like Creighton, it's probably, UConn, St. John's, Creighton, or that's stone cold top three. After that, who the hell knows?
Here's the math, by the way, because you wanted the math.
Yeah.
Big East, right? You mentioned it. You get UConn, you get Creighton, you get St. John's. So there's 3. And then you're looking at who's better between Georgetown, Marquette, Villanova, maybe Xavier. Maybe I'm out on Xavier.
Not a good opening week.
No, it has not been a great week for them.
No.
So right now the math tells me Villanova is 6th in the Big East. Okay, here's the math in the Big 12. Houston.
Yep.
Arizona made a statement. Texas Tech, trendy Final Four pick. You're already at 3. Then you get to this tier of Kansas, Iowa State, BYU, potentially Baylor.
Yeah.
And if the shots don't fall consistently, if Devanza turns into a one-man show, I think BYU, obviously on paper, is better than Villanova. Will obviously be a top 25 team much more frequently than Villanova. But in a deep Big 12, there's an argument that based on tiebreakers, I could see BYU 6th or 7th, which is right where I think Villanova is in the Big East.
Yeah, I could see that too. And then you could even like flip it where like Villanova overachieves. They get to 4. Debanza is everything that's advertised. Kebaketa keeps sending shots into space.
Richie Saunders keeps Richie Saunders in.
Richie Saunders just,
Rob Wright?
Yeah, Rob.
Not the first, not the second.
Not the first, not the second. Rob Wright. Yeah, I mean, you could see where like, they both end up 4th, I think. You could see where they both end up like 4th. In their respective leagues, but right now, I just don't. The Villanova thing, it has a lot to do with the coach. Like if this is your first time hearing me talk basketball, like I judge a lot based on who the coach is. Like talent, whatever, talent withstanding. Like Kevin Willard is on my list of guys who I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna buy what you're selling.
Okay, we'll do one more and then we'll take another break. We go to the SEC for this one. Buckyball finishes top 3 in the SEC.
See, I like that.
Reaction or overreaction?
That's a reaction. You want to talk?
Welcome to the Buckyball Hive, Biggs.
Hey, what did I just say? What do I value?
Coaching, baby.
Coaching. And that you want to talk about a tale of two. I don't know if anyone down in College Station is like, I'm a diehard Texas A&M basketball fan.
They better not be.
Gigamags. I love Texas A&M basketball. Pay attention to Mike Elko. He's doing good things. But you want to talk about what a difference a year makes, going from Buzz Williams basketball to Bucky McMillan basketball. I mean, I know
it's the Iowa switch, but in reverse.
It is like I know it's a common, like when coaching changes get made, just hire the opposite of what we had. It'll solve all the problems. Like Trev did that. Trev did that and then some. And it's I think that, the SEC, I don't know if the SEC propaganda machine, sorry to my friend in that office, I don't know if the SEC basketball propaganda machine is going to be as strong this year, at least once you get out of that top group. But I definitely see a path, and they're gonna be fun, man. I am in on Aggie basketball.
Kentucky's my number 1 in the SEC. Then I think there's a clear drop-off. Alabama in that next tier. Tennessee in that next tier. I think Florida's in that next tier. Get enough benefit of the doubt as the defending national champion. I'm not sold on that roster. I like them, but we'll get to them after the break a little bit more as well.
Walter Clayton's not walking through that door either.
He is not. He's certainly nor is Will Richard, which I think could be just as important. So I think Florida's in that tier. Then you have to start talking yourself into, is there anything at Ole Miss? What is Auburn? What is Arkansas? I think it's a pretty muddy, like tier 2A and 2B above tier 3, but A&M plays up tempo. I low-key like that roster. Mackenzie Mbako hasn't played yet this year. He'll be back at some point. Not sure what he looks like. He's probably more potential over promise, but he was sneaky productive in the mess at Indiana. Keep him away from Taco Bell's and you're probably fine. Rashawn Agee will not end up leading Texas A&M in scoring. He got paid off the Nebraska game, which props to that young man for that. I don't mind Ruben Dominguez. Rylan Griffin might finally be delivering on some promise. Josh Holloway, a little bit intriguing as an under-the-radar guy. You get Federico Squared. Pop Isaacs, I guess, is still floating around college basketball. But if he has more possessions to work with, that's a lower percentage that he can ruin.
Correct.
For a team. And then you had another former top 50 guy in Zach Clements, of all people. Again, probably not going to be much of anything. But for the way Bucky McMillan wants to play, I like how that roster is set up. I think there's a path for A&M to be at least top 4. I'm saying top 3 seed in the SEC and probably be a 3 or a 4 seed come tourney time.
There is. I agree. 100%. I mean, like you said, the personnel fits the scheme, and that happens. There's so many times where that doesn't happen in this portal era, where people just go star hunting and get into bag offs. But the personnel definitely fits the scheme with Buckyball, and that'll be fun to follow.
We'll take our second break of the show. We'll be back. Who in the top 10 falls out? Where do our 1 seeds come from? And do we need some D2 flavor in March Madness? Reactions and overreactions on the corner 3.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a few sprinkles possible. Otherwise, we'll see decreasing clouds and breezy conditions with a high near 66. Tonight, a slight chance of showers, otherwise partly cloudy, the low around 42. And tomorrow, a chance of showers in the morning, otherwise decreasing clouds and windy, the high near 54. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Midwest Bank is hosting our annual Thanksgiving food drive, partnering with local Lincoln schools to provide Thanksgiving dinners to families in need. We hope to provide meals for more than 120 families in our community this year. You can help by dropping off a donation at either Midwest Bank location, 7001 Pioneers Boulevard or 2655 Jamie Lane. Any donation is greatly appreciated. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Score big with rebates up to $2,000 on the Kawasaki Nav, Kawasaki's first ever fully electric personal transportation vehicle designed for cruising the good life. Be the first to nav your neighborhood. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location, where they can't wait to get you set up for football season.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in seasons? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Time for a new heating and cooling system? Get the options, brand, and efficiency that best fits your family and your home. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Back to the Corner 3 on 93.7 The Ticket. Here is your host, Austin Oerman.
We're rolling right along here through the Corner 3. For those of you listening on radio, we will be going past 7. So you're welcome and you're sorry both, depending on your perspective of this. I'm Austin Oerman. He is Jacob Bigelow. Plenty going on in a busy and exciting week 1 of college basketball. I did drop a Jay Foreman line on Jay Foreman last week. It was a week ago today. And I said, Jay, it's Friday, which means it's the weekend, which means it's Monday already, which means it's basketball season already. He's like, that's not how it works, right? I said, well, then you can't use that on me ever again. He didn't like that very much, but It is basketball season. I suppose we can give football some flowers here and there, but we're talking hoops here on the Corner 3. All right. Number 7, reaction or overreaction. This comes from Stats by Will Warren on Twitter. Fantastic follow. Highly recommend you do that. Writing for Basket Under Review. Again, fantastic website. Okay. In the interest of being a true journalist, here's the full list of preseason AP top 10 teams, 46 in all, who either finished unranked or achieved a 7 seed at best since 2006. We'll not go through the whole list, but the initial tweet was every year since 06, at least one preseason top 10 team has ended the year a 7 seed or worse. So for those of you keeping track at home, your preseason top 10 teams that fit this criteria: Purdue, Houston, Florida, UConn, St. John's, Duke, Michigan, BYU, Kentucky, and Texas Tech. So, Jacob Bigelow, the floor is yours. Who in that group of 10 drops to a 7 seed or worse?
That is a tough one. I don't want to speak in absolutes, but I feel like your most likely candidate is probably BYU.
Okay.
I'm trying to,
because they lost to Nebraska. Are you a hater?
Part of it, obviously. I'm just thinking about who it's not gonna be. I know it's not gonna be Houston. I know it's not gonna be UConn. I know it's not gonna. You know what? I don't know, but a 7 seed. You could make the case for St. John's.
Are you going to?
I'm not going to.
You're going to make me do it.
I figured. But you could make the case for St. John's. Because the Big East got 3 teams in the tournament last year. I don't know if the Big East is going to be highly regarded again. Creighton somehow famously wound up in an 8-9 game. You could make the case for St. John's. I kind of feel like the 2 leading candidates there are probably, honestly, it's St. John's and BYU for me, looking at the top 10.
Okay. I will make the case for St. John's as my bronze medal pick. Okay. 3rd most likely for me. No point guard, not enough shooting. If Ian Jackson is going to be the highest percentage 3-point shooter for St. John's, either something went incredibly right for him or something went incredibly wrong for St. John's. Now, it is, to me, the reason they finish in a 3rd place for the sucker bet, as Will Warren would say, is because I think Pitino's comfortable coaching that style. His Louisville teams did not exactly light it up from 3. He knows what he's getting into. They have positional size. They are athletic. It's, imagine if Buzz Williams was like gangster, not just gangster, right? If he was mafia, not just gangster. Okay, that's what Rick Pitino's doing. I trust him to figure it out enough in the regular season, and mediocre to squishy bottom of the Big East provides wins. Number 2 for me is Michigan. I like Dusty May. I bet on the coaching. They put a lot of money into that front court. They want to play all 3 of them together.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that works. Mara doesn't stretch the floor. Johnson doesn't stretch the floor. You can do more big-to-big stuff. I really like Yaxel as a power forward.
Yep.
I don't know how you can make that work, consistently if you want to be that big across the board. They will own the glass. Shooting obviously becomes a concern. Not an Elliot Cadeau guy. If he had more shooting around him, fine. But if you're asking Elliot Cadeau to create and score for non-shooters in a clogged paint, I don't see that happening consistently. Roddy Gale, I like, don't love. Banking on him to be consistent. LJ Kaysen, are you kidding me? Will Shetter, okay, at least you're tall and white and can shoot.
Namari Burnett does kind of have a strap. He can shoot.
Yeah, he
can
can.
shoot,
But again, if you're banking on that guy,
yeah,
the pieces are there. There are enough combinations that Michigan can find it. But I am still bamboozled by their transfer portal strategy a little bit. Curious to see how it works. But my gold medalist for Sucker Bet of the Year is Florida.
Ooh.
And this is not just an overreaction to Arizona. I have been lower on Florida throughout there. Number one, I think the SEC is still good. I do not buy Florida's guards. I don't. Not a Boogie Fland guy. Too inefficient for me. Not enough of a shot. Xavier Lee? That's a guy that needs the ball in his hands, but is he that good with the ball in his hands at an SEC level?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I like Condon. I don't love Condon. I like Hauk. I don't love Hauk. Han Logton is a cool story.
You mean known wing Alex Condon?
Something like that. Sure. And then, Han Logton and Chinyelu, rotate between those two guys. And Han Logton's the story, right? Broke his leg, came back. Kudos to that guy. It's a lot of front court in a conference that's really led by guards right now. It's not Brandon Miller or Grant Nelson at Alabama. It's not Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield at Tennessee. I like Golden as a coach. I like how he plays the numbers. I like how he plays the math.
Yeah.
But I'm not a believer in proven wing Alex Condon. Hauk will see if there's a leap, and the double centers and the questions at the point guard position. So let's pause 10 seconds for station ID for our radio folks. Jacob, we'll have the floor to respond when we get back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
I hadn't thought about that, but I kind of, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Because, it's kind of crazy to say this about the defending national champions, but they're so front court heavy, and those guys were getting so much love, and there were a lot of points where I'm just like, are we sure? This is we're talking about these guys, about these front court guys, they're these surefire, all American, dudes. Yeah, like you said, yeah. You took the words out of my mouth. I'm just like, are we sure? I don't. Yeah. So I'm kind of with you there. I can see the case for Michigan too. And this is as the resident Yaxel Lindenborg watcher in this room.
He's one of your guys. You have your connections.
He is one of my guys. Yeah. So I think he's going to put up numbers. He's going to be very fun to watch. But the Danny Vlad experiment worked well enough that they're like, yeah, we can do this big stuff. We can do this too. But I trust Dusty. I like him as a coach. A lot actually, but yeah, there are definitely some questions. There are definitely some questions that need to be answered there before you can make any rash declarations about them long term.
A quick shout out before we get to our final overreaction. Division II teams belong in the NCAA tournament bubble discussion. Hawaii Pacific stand up, Northwood stand up, and Wilmington just today knocks off Joe Flacco U. What a start for the D2 schools. All right, the real final reaction/overreaction. All 4 number 1 seeds in the men's tournament will come from different conferences. Reaction or overreaction?
That's a proper reaction, I believe.
Because last year we had 2 from the SEC, 1 from the Big 12, and 1 from the ACC.
Yeah, I think that's a proper reaction. I would say first glance. I think the league with the best case for 2, probably the Big 12. My opinion, but I think that's because I think this may be I got my black and red Adidas colored glasses on. I really like Tech.
Okay.
I really like Tech. I think they're going to be, and it's not just JT Toppin, Anderson. Is it Christian Anderson? Christian Anderson had a huge game the other night. I think that's a pretty nasty 1-2 punch. I really like McCasland, and I think they got a taste of it last year, and they they were a sneaky Final Four pick this year. They're trendy. They went from sneaky to trendy, which sometimes you don't like when it comes to talking college hoops. But I think they could sneak in there. I mean, Houston's Houston. They're they're gonna be there. They're gonna be there regardless. And I think, like I said, the SEC, they're not gonna. The SEC is not the Death Star this year. I don't think it's not the Death Star in terms of depth, and they're not gonna have all but 2 teams in a 16-team league in the tournament again. Then yeah, the top of the AC. I mean, it's tough to. I mean, yeah, I mean Duke's gonna have a case. I think. Do I dare say that there's a world where UConn has a case?
If you ask me right now to make my Final Four picks, I trust Purdue enough to assume they'll get it. At the very least, Big Ten number 1 ought to get a 1 seed.
Yes.
SEC number 1, if it's Kentucky, I think gets a 1 seed. If it's Tennessee, I'm not as sure if it. I don't think it's going to be Arkansas. I don't think it's going to be Auburn. I don't think A&M has the respect to get a 1 seed with buckyball. So I think Kentucky, if they live up to promise out of the SEC, I'm with you now that you talk through it. In the Big 12, probably being the most likely candidate for 2. But I don't think we're talking enough about UConn, and I hate it. Yeah. That roster is built for Dan Hurley.
Yep.
I hope that the work that Dan Hurley did on himself backfires and now he's too calm and too timid, but I'm afraid that's not going to be a problem. I think UConn deserved more love for number 1 overall in the preseason poll. I get it with what Purdue and Houston brought back.
Yeah.
But UConn's team just makes too much sense. If you ask me right now, Purdue, Houston, UConn, and then it comes down to, does Big 12 number 2, ACC number 1, or SEC number 1 have the best case?
Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you. I think I was kind of perplexed by the lack of UConn talk going into the season. And I know Dan Hurley was on the book tour, and there was the whole, I thought about quitting and all that stuff. And you say what you will about Dan Hurley. The sport needs Dan Hurley. I said that ad nauseum into this same microphone this time last year. The sport needs Dan Hurley. I think he's going to kind of sort of be back with a vengeance with this team this year. And, after the back-to-back, he's going to remind people, I'm still here.
Okay, you tweeted this out. This is how we'll wrap the episode on a Nebraska-centric note. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5. Not Miami Heat championships, but Huskers in the G League.
I know.
That's something.
It is something. I feel like that's got to be the most at one time.
How close did they get with the James Palmer Jr., Evan Taylor, Isaac Copeland? Would those 3 have been in G League at the same time?
I don't think Copeland. No, he was a G League guy for a little bit. He was a Texas legend at one point. Palmer was a Clippers G League guy.
Taylor was too.
Yeah.
Did Glenn ever get an invite?
I don't think so. I don't think
Roby.
Yep. And Roby's the lone Tim Miles era Husker still on the list. He's coming back from an ACL, or I think it was an ACL. Was
knee of some sort.
A knee injury of some sort last year. Shout out to Roby, one of my guys. This all comes back to my guys, right? But then the other, the other 4, Bryce Williams, Josiah Alec, Delano Banton, and Bryce McGowan's. McGowan's being the one of the 5 that's on a 2-way with the Birmingham Squadron, the Pelicans affiliate. But shout out to Josiah Alec, man. That was
NBL MVP Josiah Alec.
NBL League 2 MVP Josiah Alec. Now him and his Amazon fur coat made their way to Greensboro with the Greensboro Swarm. That's great to see, knowing what he went through rehabbing his injury in what was a GA while rehabbing, and then goes to play, and now here he is in the G League. I'll be following along with Bryce Williams as well. I don't think I've I don't know how long I can go without seeing some Bryce Williams middies, some pull up Bryce
Ice
Williams
Chilliams?
middies. Yeah, some ice Chilliams in my life. I don't think I'm going to be watching G League games like while they're happening, but I may look into some Bryce Williams tape as the season rolls on.
What, in your opinion, can having 5 G Leaguers do for Nebraska as a program? Is that something that people look at? Is that nothing because it's not the NBA? Is it something for Fred Hoiberg, his staff, to hang his recruiting cap on?
I mean, it's something you can sell for sure. I mean, I know that's part of the pitch is, here's a coach who played in the NBA, coached in the NBA, worked in the NBA front office, and, say what you will about, how like seasons like last year ended. But I mean, they've got guys that they brought in that developed, and when guys like Bryce Williams developed at Nebraska, took the leap from where he was at Charlotte and to, being able to be in the G League. Josiah, puts the cherry on top of his college career coming home, and he gets to represent as well. And then guys like Banton and McGowan's who weren't here that long, but they still Bryce McGowan still loves Nebraska. Will find any he'll definitely find a way to get back here at some point during so it's part of it's all something you can sell, and it's the list keeps getting longer of what you can sell in recruiting nowadays. But I mean, it's nothing to turn your nose up at. 5 guys, and 4 of the 5 were recruited by this staff, brought to Lincoln by this staff, and they're still getting to chase their dreams in the G League.
Could there have been a moment last year where you had Bryce McGowan's, Trey McGowan's, Casey, and Delano in the G League?
There is. That is a good point.
Now that I think about it,
yeah,
because Roby would have been with Ratio Farm over in
yep.
Germany. Josiah playing and then rehabbing, like you said, and Bryce Williams playing for Nebraska. So might have had 4 for a moment.
Might have had 4 for a moment there. It depends on where Delano was at the time. I know he was up and down with the Blazers last year.
But either way, I mean, that's a selling point.
That is a selling point.
Bryce would have been the same.
Yep.
McGowan's.
Yep. And that's a selling point, man. I mean, it's you can come to Nebraska, you can develop, and you can be you can be on the doorstep. That's for sure. I mean, that's definitely part of the pitch if you're Fred Hoiberg and that coaching staff.
Jacob, it's been a blast.
It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun, Austin. Good to be back with you, man. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Look forward to this moving forward throughout our Friday nights. We're wrapping up some high school football coverage here on the station, and I will actually be out on paternity leave at the end of the month, so we might stick a slight pin in this. But at the very least, by the time December rolls around, we will be in a rhythm of Friday nights here at 6 to 7-ish p.m. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. For the Stretch Big, Jacob Bigelow, this is Austin Oerman signing off. It's been a fantastic episode. As always, give the follows on Twitter at Jacob A. Bigelow, at Austin_Oerman, and of course, selfishly at 93.7 The Ticket as well. It's been a blast. We'll talk again soon, folks.